What's up, everybody? This is Puff from thetechover.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Windows 8 preview. So the screen we have here is the first screen you're going to see after you sign into Windows 8. Now, if you've been using Windows like me for a long time, you're going to be wondering, what is this? Well, this is Windows 8. And you're wondering, what do these buttons do? They look like they're for children. Then you see this desktop button down here. Then you click it, and then now you're comfortably at home. Now you notice this is really just like Windows 7. I don't know what that scary part was at the beginning there. Now you have Windows 7, but you'll notice you don't have a start menu at the bottom. Looking for, where's that start menu? Oh, here it is. It sort of pops up when you put your mouse there. It's like there's not even a button going on. And if you click it, it takes you back to where we were at the beginning. And if you push the Windows button on your keyboard, the same thing happens. So this seems like the start menu. And that's when you realize that you're sort of running like two operating systems at the same time. You pretty much have Windows 7 running and Windows 8 running sort of side by side. So Microsoft is clearly trying to please everybody with this interface. They want to unify tablets, cell phones, and desktops into one user interface. But at the end of the day, it just seems like this stuff is all really focused on touchscreen to use with your fingers. And with a mouse and keyboard, some things that should be obvious just feel unintuitive and not obvious at all. To show you what I mean, let's take a look at the Maps app, which is a great app. It's standard. It's like you'd expect from Google Maps or any other software you use. But one simple thing is, how do you close it? If you right-click, you have these options like a search bar, directions, but there's no little X button like you'd traditionally have on Windows 7. So I'll let you know a little secret. To close it, you have to drag it from the top and bring it to the bottom. Now, how would you have guessed that? I actually used Windows 8 for like 10 hours not knowing how to close anything until I finally figured it out. I mean, it makes sense on a touchscreen that you just drag your finger across the screen, but with a mouse and keyboard, it doesn't make any sense at all. So here's something interesting. If you want to see how in Windows 8 you really are running two operating systems side by side, let's take a look at the Internet Explorer app from the Start menu, or as they call it, the Metro style interface. So here we are on Bing. Let's do a search for, I don't know, dirty towels. And then if we go back to the Start menu and we go to the desktop, or as I like to call it, the Windows 7, go on Internet Explorer, we're on a completely different page. So you're sort of running like two different versions of Internet Explorer side by side. Try explaining that one to your grandma. Very confusing. One thing I did like about Windows 8 is the presentation is really nice overall. Everything's really colorful. One random thing I thought was pretty cool is they changed the task manager. And the way it's presented, I like it a lot better than it was in Windows 7, suffice to say. You have all the information presented really clearly. In the Performance tab, you have some beautiful graphs, and I love graphs. I absolutely love graphs. And also the apps themselves are really nice. Let's take a look at the weather one. There's some beautiful clouds in the background. You can scroll. You notice you're now scrolling from side to side instead of up and down, which takes a while to get used to. But it's just, again, it's clear that it was designed for a touch interface. Another feature of Windows 8 is that, similar to Windows 7, where you could snap your applications to take 50% of the screen each, is that you can do the same thing with your apps from Windows 8. The only difference is that instead of being 50-50, they're going to be 75-25, and you can switch between the two. Let's take us back to the Start menu. Something else I want to show you here is the sidebar. If you finagle your mouse somewhere around in the right-hand corner, the sidebar comes out. Here you have the Search, Share, Start, Devices, and Setting options. Now, again, I want to point out that these options are not in the desktop. They're only on the Start menu over here. And that brings me to my biggest complaint about Windows 8. It really grinds my gears. Everything takes more time. In Windows 7, you just had to go to the Start menu and you could immediately start typing to search. But here, on the desktop, you have to go to the Start menu, finagle in the right-hand corner, and then click on Search. It's just tedious. Another thing you have to do often is access the control panel. In Windows 7, it was extremely easy. You clicked on the Start menu button, and you clicked on the control panel, and that was it. In Windows 8, what do? Well, first of all, you have absolutely no idea. You right-click, you don't know. You click on the fish's head, you have no idea. Here's what you have to do. Get back to the Start menu, and then what? This isn't obvious. Where's the control panel? Well, you have to know you have to right-click, click on All Apps, scroll through this giant wall of text, locate the control panel, left-click on it, and then you end up back at the desktop. What was the point of that massive detour? In Windows 7, it took 2 clicks. In Windows 8, every time you want to access the control panel, it takes like 5 minutes. So put yourself in my shoes. You've been using Windows 8 now for like 20 minutes thinking, wow, I wish this was Windows 7. You just want to get out of here, make a sandwich, move on with your life. Well, that's no problem. We'll just turn off the computer. But wait, it's not that simple. How do you turn off the computer? In Windows 7, all you had to do was click on the Start menu and then click Shutdown. Or if you were really cool, you clicked on the Windows key to the right twice and then you pushed Enter. It was super easy. It took less than 1 second. In Windows 8, I swear to God, it took me 10 minutes to figure out how to shut down the computer. I felt like I was 100 years old. What you have to do is you have to get to the Start menu, finagle your mouse over in the corner, bring up the sidebar, click on Settings of all things, click on Power and Shutdown. How is shutting down your computer a setting? It's never been a setting in any version of Windows before, and it doesn't even make any sense. Why would it be buried so deep in menus? It's the most basic function of a computer to turn it off and on. If you have a desktop or a laptop, we really don't recommend you upgrade to Windows 8. Windows 7 is just faster to use. We haven't tested Windows 8 on a touch device. It seems like it would be better, but we can't say. As far as a mouse and keyboard goes though, somebody forced me to either use Windows 8 or an Apple product. I might even consider using the Apple product. That is, if death isn't an option. But I've been pretty harsh on it. You guys can try out Windows 8 for yourself. It's available for a free download. Oh, you're still here? If you got nothing to do, why don't you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube?